evening, fine people of the internet. So, as you may have guessed, this is not my usual time slot by any stretch of the imagination, but I'm pretty blitzed. It's 2 a.m. Just felt like playing some blogaem. This will probably not be the most entertaining stream, but fuck it. Why not? I just felt like talking a bit about earlier in the night's events, and I don't really feel like I can carry a Zotted on, so to speak, so you know what? I'll just talk over some gameplay. So, we're gonna do a single player Polar World Blitzed survival. Yeah, fuck it, we can do survival. I'm not sure of the difficulty. I'm thinking normal, just because I don't believe I am that much of a wiener. No, these settings look fine to me. Let's just go ahead and jump in. So, again, the main reason I wanted to do this stream is mostly to talk about the Plus R tournament I entered earlier. So, needless to say, didn't go too well. 19 hours logged, just clearly was not enough. Unfortunate, but that's just how it goes sometimes. Okay, so you don't need to tell me that this frame rate looks like absolute shit, but I just sort of jumped into it without worrying about how this game in OBS would really interact. So, you're just gonna have to forgive me for that shit. So yeah, Plus R tourney. I honestly did try to do my homework. I thought I was ready for Congo Slayer, but nope, was not. Not by a long shot. Because the problem is that stomp move, which it turned out was 2H, I believe, just messed me up. On another note, Jesus Christ, the seed looks like shit. Literally stuck on an island. This is really just really, this whole day has been sort of a shit luck sort of day for me, so not really lucky for me. Also, Ariel Noriboshi, thank you for the follow. Just again, you'll have to forgive me for not exactly being at the highest of energy, but again, it is 2 a.m. and I am absolutely fucking lacquered, so you'll just have to give me some leeway here. Yes, hello. Very glad you could join me for the first time. I'd like to emphasize that this is hardly my usual content, but again, sometimes you just gotta YOLO it, seize the night as it is. It's rather silly, but sometimes I just feel like it, and I gotta get the hell off this island somehow. I will not be making any survival progress staying here. It would not surprise me whatsoever if this turned out to be one of the absolute worst possible spawns I could have gotten, if I'm being quite honest. But this is what they gave me. This is what I have to live with. Yes, it is indeed content. Shit is fucked up. Although I will say, this is still nowhere near as bad RNG as what happened when what happened with the tournament earlier. So, assuming I had beaten Congo, I would have had to fight Serena Penguina, who was a veteran fighting game player, as it turns out. So if I did manage to beat him, she would have absolutely kicked my teeth in with her May, because I am rather weak at that matchup. Oh yes, you have heard of her. On one hand, that does surprise me, considering she is a fighting game-centric VTuber. Those don't tend to have much travel. But on the other hand, she is somewhat popular, so can't really expect. Yeah. In any case, I never really the best gauge of what's popular or what's the hot stuff, because I'm sort of just stuck here. Yes, that does indeed make sense. I see what you're talking about. As a matter of fact, yes, mutuals. That makes even more sense. As for me, obviously, me being a mighty bounty hunter from the High Gain Kingdom, that doesn't really apply to me. But I will say, I believe the term that people use here for their favorite virtual YouTuber is Oshi. My Oshi is this wonderful woman named Nekoreen. Nekoreen. South African woman. Not exactly for everybody, but I like her. I love watching her. I insist on watching all of her streams. I'm not quite sure where the connection lied, but just for some reason, it just seemed like the right thing to do to watch her. And Rarisia is hardly a bad choice for Oshi either. As a matter of fact, Calliope Mori's entire network is full of rather entertaining virtual YouTubers, including Mori herself. She is rather wonderful in her own right. Great musician. Which I get is rather strange coming from a metalhead, but it's a, truly great musicians can manage to make any personal, it doesn't really matter what your favorite music is. A truly great musician can make you realize just how great a genre can be. And yes, I don't blame you for that. Callie is absolutely wonderful. There's a reason I would, without a doubt, consider her my Hololive Oshi. And the remix contest, yes, as a matter of fact, that remix contest is indeed... That did indeed have some rather wonderful entries in it. Just from all around the world. Every sort of genre, just... The quality and representation was just simply off the charts there. It's a shame that it happened before I managed to come into existence, but such is life. Couldn't really help it. And, yeah, that's only a bad choice for, trying to come into existence. Trying to show Hololive just what you're capable of. I can imagine that being a smart choice of song. So, besides Mori, I will say, well, Kiara is not particularly my sort of content. I am forced to admit, Hinotori is indeed what the children would call a banger. That is indeed a fantastic track. I was indeed pretty addicted to it. Wow. Well, I will say, if that's the case, you're actually further along than I am, because the only ballad I made, I only ever managed to write the first verse of it, and didn't even manage to get the melody to it before actually more or less abandoning the song, but not really much anybody can do. Alright, should probably make a crafting table at this point. Yes, that is correct. Finding... So the problem with trying to isolate vocals is that, it's generally rather difficult to do so. Yeah, fuck this, I'll make a boat. I gotta get my ass off this island. Perfect. Alright. Screw this, I'm out of here. And, yes, I do indeed plan on revisiting it. As a matter of fact, I actually streamed the process of writing that particular song back, in the days before, back when I was stuck using my very bulgy teacher's outfit. Oh, it wasn't? That's very strange. I would have assumed Hololive would be the sort of company that would actually be open to releasing their music, in a more lossless format, but I suppose it can't be helped. And, yes, in the times before, so not only was I stuck in my teacher's uniform in a rather bulgy form, I was also mainly a YouTube streamer beforehand. Yes, I am indeed open to that, but on the other hand, so the reason I largely stopped doing that was because I was sort of concerned about... those didn't tend to get a lot of views. Those were not exactly my highest rated streams, so I ended up pivoting to more, well, not more. I was pivoting to less niche content, so to speak. But I do sort of miss it, because when I debuted, I did mention I wanted to mainly be a musical VTuber, but that was simply not up to me. I should probably make a sword. I need to make a bed. And I cannot make one yet. There we go. Alright. Need some more planks. I can make that happen. And yes, it is indeed a very hard sell. That's the entire reason I stopped, especially with my pivot to Twitch. Literal black sheep. Perfect. The perfect foil for an edgy gentleman such as I. Let's see. Can I make a bed? I cannot. Well, that's awkward. Oh, but I see one more sheep. Sorry, friend. But, yes, while I'm lucky to be part of a scene that actually has multiple musicians in it, as a matter of fact, it was still, the problem is they both live in vastly different time zones, so, I actually didn't get the pleasure of, unfortunately not much overlap. You are not a very polite man. Please leave me alone, good sir. Excellent. And yes, they really are, because my particular scene is actually rather diverse. We have people from Southeast Asia, Europe, the United States, and obviously various locales that do not even exist in this particular world, including myself. You are starting to seriously irritate me. You and your friends need to leave me alone. I will probably not even survive the night, but such as c'est la vie. That said, I can at least try. Excellent. Sweet dreams. But, yes. Being a musical-focused VTuber who is not also a singer is rather suffering. because the problem is I am actually not a singer myself. Like, don't get me wrong, I would like to become one, but that is quite the grind to become a singer. A grind that I am not too confident in undertaking, if I'm being quite honest. Speaking of grinds, here's a very fun fact for you. This is actually my first time playing Minecraft not on a server. This is more or less my first time playing single player, which is quite the undertaking. Especially considering I have largely no idea how to play completely on my own. I find it rather miraculous that I actually managed to survive my first night. Not that I will complain at all, mind you. I wonder if I can actually make a house. That would be rather convenient. Oh, wow, that's rather impressive. That reminds me, there was actually this entire vocal training paste bin that I actually wanted to share with you. I came this close to simply shooting my shot, so to speak, and directly messaging it to you, but I thought better of it. But now that you're here, I can ask for your consent. Very convenient. Now, granted, in a lot of senses, I would say you're actually further along than me, but never hurts to ask, you know? Oh, you son of a bitch. Well, I'm lucky I survived that, but rather on my last legs. That will not do much healing, but it's the best I can manage for the moment. I should probably try to find a mine. And no better way to start them with a shovel. Let us descend and see what we can manage. Yes, I did ask you something, but I don't blame you. Oftentimes they're not worth paying attention to, especially not when I've had a few, like right now. There was simply, I was simply offering you more help. As I was saying, there was a paste bin full of vocal resources that I thought you might be interested in seeing, but obviously that's up to you whether or not you want to watch it. Yes, multi-drifting. The classic dilemma of the VTuber enthusiast. It's impossible to watch everybody, so naturally, that's simply a fact of life. That is absolutely fine. But in any case, yes, that was mainly what I wanted to ask you. Simply if you were interested in seeing the resource paste bin that I mentioned a minute ago. Oh, wow, iron. That is incredibly fortunate for me to run into this early. So, yes, I will indeed directly message that to you after the stream. Or I may, since you are my only viewer at the moment, I may just take a break and give it to you directly. Because that's the wonderful thing about music. It's a eternal learning process. Yes, I apparently squandered that iron, so a stone pickaxe would probably benefit me rather greatly. It would be even better if I could find some coal, but that remains to be seen. So, yes, back on the subject of music. It's a rather wonderful thing, I think. Just, so much opportunity for self-expression. Such a, fine medium. There's a reason I consider it, my main thing, to put it in the laziest way possible. It would be nice if, again, it's sort of a pity that it's such a niche thing as far as live streaming goes, but you can't really help that. Yes, because there are all sorts of virtual YouTubers out there that fill all sorts of interesting niches. But of course, they are still niches at the end of the day. Not everybody is going to enjoy your content the same way. Not everybody's will simply understand. Oh yes, hundreds of games. That is completely understandable. 100%. Video games are indeed the easiest way to get eyes on you in the end. There's a reason I had to sort of pivot to that. Such a but on the bright side, those do have music and video games do have quite more crossover than one would expect. It's a fortunate thing. And yes, I do not have any confidence doing Zotsudon, so I would say you have a leg up on me in that department. They do, silly me. But yes, there's a reason I elected to even doing this. There's a reason I had to resort to playing Minecraft in the background, simply because this is generally the recommended game for this sort of situation. Because obviously, since I don't have a full live 2D, there's only so much interest I can draw playing this sort of games. Plus, like I said, I have no confidence doing a Zotsudon on my own, so yes, they really do. To say nothing of the fact that my live 2D Papa is apparently rather swamped backlog-wise. He's been forced to delay my finishing my model for over 2 months at the moment. It is unfortunate, but I'm willing to give the man the benefit of the doubt. Yes, oh dear indeed. But of course, it's not particularly polite to assume things of people, so I do want to give my father the benefit of the doubt. Maybe he legitimately does have maybe he legitimately is rather swamped. He does have quite the busy schedule, because I do quite admire his work. He does do good work. That's the entire reason I have I've been this patient with him as I have been. That said, I do find the need to, I probably will have to lay down the law with him at some point. Tell him, I appreciate the fact that you are rather busy, but I do have a career to get started in, so you will have to help yourself. And, wow. That was, rather lucky of you. Unfortunately, I wasn't, when I was just beginning, I wasn't close enough to any artists to really, go that route. Unfortunately, most of the artists, when I was just beginning, I actually wasn't that close to any of the artists in this particular niche, so I basically had no choice but to go with a Vroid. to represent myself on stream, to approximate what my teaching outfit looks like. Because obviously, what you're looking at right now is my bounty hunting outfit. Which is, it looks fine, but it was, as far as I'm concerned, the teaching outfit really didn't represent me as well as I wanted to. So, yes, that's a rather interesting story, as a matter of fact. When I decided I needed to show the people my bounty hunting outfits, as it turns out, there was quite a number of complications with that process. So, you may be aware of the famous Brian Sui, something of a live-to-D sensei, so to speak, and his Discord server, designed to help people get live-to-Ds. Yes, the famous Iron Vertex. Him and his group have a good reputation for good reasons. However, obviously, those particular gentlemen were well outside of my price range. Teaching doesn't pay you jack shit, as the less refined people of this particular service are wont to say. So yes, I tried to enter the live-to-D Discord run by Brian Sui. However, I was unable to do so on my own. Because, as it turns out, shortly before I entered that Discord, they implemented an authentication bot, which unfortunately was rather buggily implemented. I was simply unable to properly enter the Discord on my own. The bot would simply refuse to authenticate me. So, I was unable to hire anybody on my own to show off my proper bounty hunting attire. I had to resort to, yes, automation hate, as my niche puts it. You simply cannot rely on artificial intelligence to do all your work for you. Otherwise, bad things happen, as I learned firsthand. As I was saying. So, what I ended up having to do was, fortunately enough, I had a very good friend of mine, another fellow VTuber, who actually managed to enter that particular Discord server on his own before they implemented the bot. So what ended up happening was we had to do a sort of middleman dance where he had to put up the want ad for me on my behalf, and he essentially had to help me choose my live-to-D mama and papa, which was quite the involved and irritating process, if I'm being honest, but in the end, it ended up working out. I met my wonderful mama, who goes by the name of Meowry Art, who brought this particular form of me to life. Ended up allowing me to represent myself as I meant. And that's simply the end of the story. I also met my papa there, but that has had its own complications, as I've already mentioned. And yes, I suppose Twitter is a viable way to put it, but I simply didn't want to go that route. Because the problem is, when I was first shopping around, I was simply too shy to ask outright, to put out a Twitter want ad saying, Ian VTuber seeking live-to-D model. The thought of doing that absolutely terrified me, if I'm being honest. So, what I ended up doing instead was, my live-to-D Discord was simply, as far as I was concerned, the only viable option. However, that said, I may still end up going that route for because of course I will eventually need more less scuff art assets. Because this plain color layout will only get me so far. I don't know why I'm trying to do this in nearly pitch black. Okay, next order of business, I need to find some coal. But, yes. There are many routes to go to when you are, deciding to enter the virtual space and, entertain people as a virtual YouTuber type person. That was simply the approach I took. I do not recommend it, but it's what I did. And, yes, that is indeed a valid way to check live to do rigors. That's, so, another way, another benefit of how I did it was, the fact that, essentially the artists ended up coming to me and had to sell themselves on me. Which was, I will admit, quite a burden to put on them, but on the other hand, it did, allow me to, pick and choose who I thought would be a good fit for my character. Because the problem is, I had very exacting standards for the sort of character I wanted to... Well, no. Character, what am I talking about? This is the liquor talking. Try not to mind that statement, but... I had a very exacting... My bounty hunting outfit required a certain sort of artist. A sort of artist that simply wasn't quite as common as, one would like. One of my tastes would like. So what I ended up having to do was, fortunately enough, I actually had a reference sheet ready for, for the sort of, outfit. I was, my bounty hunting outfit was. Which is, rather luckier than certain other virtual YouTubers. A lot of them, are simply unable to describe what, exactly they look like in their own world when they're trying to enter the virtual one. Having clear ideas can be, quite helpful when you're, trying to enter the virtual space, but as stated, it is, simply an involved process. Oh, Leon and Alice, it's a pleasure to see you and your, party of 14. So, funny enough, that's actually the, well, second largest raid. Congo's raid was, larger, but I still appreciate it. I welcome you with open arms. Rock hair, headless, and obviously the couple themselves, I greet you very much. Granted, this is not the best first impression of me. This is a 2 a.m. drunken guerilla stream, but I still appreciate you coming to spend time with me. And I would also like you to meet Ariel Noriboshi. She is a wonderful new VTuber that I just met, a fellow musician, and somebody that I honestly believe will go rather far. Yes, hello, Leon and or Alice. Yes, it's sort of the trouble with couple accounts. It's hard to tell which one you're speaking to, but I'm sure either way, I still am very glad to see you. So yes, Ariel Noriboshi, everybody. I do urge you to check her out. She is brand new to the scene and could probably use some friends to speak to. Please do check her out. I have a lot of faith in her to go far. To climb the mountaintop with the rest of us. So, as I was saying, yes, the story of how I entered the virtual space was quite the process, but in the end, I did find my wonderful Mama Meowry, who brought me to life in this form, as I desperately needed / wanted. Allowed me to move on from that disgusting live 2D, Vroid. And, yes, that is largely all I have to say about that. It was an involved process, but it was worth it in the end. So, yes, for those of you who came into this stream and thought, oh dear lord, not a Minecraft streamer, I would like to assure you that this will not be a cornerstone of my content. I've watched enough of my good friend Your Average Rose to know that this is a good way to simply attract a crowd of miners that is rather rowdy, simply do not know how to behave. But fortunately, in my particular time zone, the children are all long since asleep, so that is one reason among many why I decided not to go that route. And yes, Ariel is correct. She is a YouTube streamer, but I could launch into a rant on how YouTube is simply not very good for independent streamers, but she's simply too early in her career to really worry about that, so... Oh dear. Wow. That was silly of me. But, yes. She will come to understand the benefits of streaming on Twitch on her own time. Fuck. Please tell me one of these particular gentlemen has an unoccupied bed. That would be rather inconvenient for me if I had to go back to the beach. Well, I'll gladly take some of this gentleman's resources. I don't believe he's in any position to object. I need to find a bed, but yes. Double entendre. Probably not. If I did do one, I was not aware of it. Granted, and yes, oh, yes. I actually didn't even think about that, but that is indeed quite the coincidence that this game would attract that sort of crowd. But again, oh dear fucking Christ, this is not good. Well, good luck with that. Well, I appear to be pinned down for the moment. So, yes. Yeah, reminder that this is actually my very first time playing Minecraft single player. Usually, I've usually only played in semi-public servers up until now, which is quite the different experience from this. If you're struggling, you have people to help you. Whereas with this, in this particular situation, I'm actually completely on my own, which is rather a bit of a problem considering I do not have the resources to fight enemies or any of that. Well, Zoptos, hello, and it's not that I don't want to hang out with you. As it turns out, I actually, well, I believe the moderators of the server, you and I, are regulars of, I believe we discussed that we're not sure what the policy is on streaming in that server. And hello, Daishima. Daishima meets Ariel Noriboshi. She's a new VTuber I discovered. Ariel Dai. He is actually the man I just mentioned a minute ago. The man who helps me come into this form. That's a story I won't repeat, but yes, you two should, I do urge you to get familiar with each other. I do believe I found a good crowd, so... Yes, magical boy with a passion for tea, as he describes himself. The cornerstone of his content is Sunday Kung Fu tea streams. He generally tends to bring his friends on to drink tea with him and simply chat in a relaxed state. I can vouch for those streams. They're very nice and relaxing. Oh, look at this. Yes, indeed. You do. Any mutuals, that's right. Well, I say friends in a broad sense. really, any mutual YouTube followers would call themselves friends just for the sake of appearances, but it is of no consequence. And yes, I do not blame you. I am not aware of what time zone you're in, but if it's anything like me, it is the rather late for you, so I do not blame you for leaving. Thank you for joining me. I am very appreciative, especially for all the viewers you brought me for this humble little guerrilla stream. But yes, still appreciate you. So glad you came. Thanks for reminding me that I actually have a full drink here with me. Quote-unquote hydration check. The actual hydration can come later. But yes, pleasure to make all your acquaintances. Again, I do urge you to check out Ariel. I have quite a bit of faith in her to make it in this scene. Not very often I get to meet fellow musicians, so quite the blessing. Wow, dawn feels like it's forever away when you're in this situation. Come to think of it, it would have been smart to bring my bed with me into this village, but it doesn't matter. I'm stuck with this, stuck in this particular situation. Rather irritating. And no, Ariel is not on Twitch. As a matter of fact, she hasn't even debuted. Her debut was not until July by herself. So, yes, it is far too early in her career to really commit to one platform or the other. And yes, indeed, she did show me her demo, which I believe is, I rather liked it. I thought it was, you have a very strong compositional sense. As a matter of fact, I actually honestly think you're stronger than me in the melody department. I'm generally better at chord progressions, rhythms, and such, so it is, I was rather impressed with it. That said, it was merely a demo, so you do have quite some ways to go. I don't think you'll be too offended for me if I say that. You would probably admit so yourself. You are brand new to the scene, after all. Your account is less than a month old. You haven't been at as long. But it's of no matter. I still do believe you have quite a bit of potential. Okay. So, this is rather embarrassing to admit, but I actually need to go AFK for a moment, so I need to get up for a moment. Hopefully by the time I come back, it will be dawn, so please excuse me for a moment. And yes, that is indeed our Twitter. So yes, please talk amongst yourselves while I go settle a quick matter. I will be right back. Please excuse me. And I have returned. Very sorry about that. Come to think of it, I probably should have considered whether or not pausing actually freezes time in a single-player run, as it would in a multiplayer server. Because that would make it very awkward if I were just stuck in this house for another, however many minutes. Fuck it. Need to keep the visuals interesting. Otherwise, why the hell am I playing this? Whatever the case, kind of go fuck yourself. Oh dear. That gentleman had a spear. That is not good. Yes, I sort of regret doing this. I probably should have stayed in the house. This is what I get for trying to make actual content. This is, rather awkward. Fuck my face. So yes, while I'm pinned down here again, yes, fair point. That would be a smart thing to do. Oh yes, dawn, finally. Blessed dawn. Exactly what I want to see. So, obviously getting up completely killed my train of thought. Jesus Christ. That is not what I wanted to see when I was holed up in a home like this. In any case, yes. I don't recall what I was talking about, so I will simply change the subject. I suppose I'll talk about the tournament. To be blunt, I am not satisfied with my performance in that. I would think that 19 hours for 2 weeks would be, I assumed that it would be a good enough grinding session, but unfortunately that does not seem to be the case. To say nothing of the fact that several of, there were very clearly other more dedicated virtual YouTubers in that tournament. To say nothing of the fact that there were actually several legitimate professionals in that too. So I suppose in a sense I actually didn't really stand a chance. But I was asked to play it. So I went in. As a matter of fact, in the announcement post, under the announcement post, I'm not sure if you're familiar with the virtual YouTuber Shimada Tiger. She legitimately, she literally told me, "Get your ass in there," when I said I had trepidations about entering. And thus I ended up being more or less forced to commit. Which was, quite, the, irritating, it ended up being the start of quite the odyssey, but in some senses I don't regret it, but in other senses, it was a learning experience in the end. And, Zop, to be blunt, I don't think so. I honestly don't think, the game was a bit too technical for my liking. The margin for error was simply too intense for me. Hence why, other beginner managed to, essentially stop me in my tracks. So, I'm not sure if you saw my tweet about my plan for next week, but, as a matter of fact, the next fighting game that I'm actually looking about, I was actually considering playing, Under Night in Birth, your main game. Yes, indeed. And yes, Guilty Gear is incredibly technical. The sort of game that has legitimate 3-frame windows to cancel moves. Yusha-kun, pleasure to see you. And yes, Under Night in Birth. If I'm being honest, I think that'll be my highlight stream next week. I plan on playing the tutorials and combo trials for that game. Which, I will actually admit, this will actually be my second time doing those. And yes, the Force Roman cancel. That one infamous mechanic that sets Guilty Gear apart. the exec series apart. So there's a fun fact for you. It's actually not pronounced X2 or XX. It's pronounced execs. Japanese is a silly language, and Daisuke is a rather funny man. But whatever the case, yes, that's what sets the exec series apart. The forced Roman cancel. But Daisuke is a absolute genius of a composer, artist, game designer, so I am not one to question him. And yes, Strive is going to be a lot less technical. That's the entire reason I am honestly interested in it, and why I was praying that I would manage to get one of Yaru's codes for the game. But unfortunately, I was not able to get it, so apparently I will have to plunk down the either $60 or $85 myself. Not the ideal situation, but I really want to play that fucking game, so that is simply what I must do. It does sort of irritate me about the ridiculous, I suppose, if you'll pardon me for the rant, I really dislike the modern practice of season passes and so much heavy downloadable content practices, because to be competitively viable at all, you will have to shell out for the first season pass at the very least, so it is rather irritating. And Ariel, I do not blame you for that at all. As a matter of fact, I actually wasn't expecting you to be that interested in fighters yourself. Forgive me for assuming, but I don't recall seeing anything about an interest in fighters in any of your biographies or any of that, so that actually surprises me to hear. And Yoshikun, forgive me for being late to respond to that, but yes, Grand Blue Fantasy Versus, that was a rather inexcusable oversight for a game of this era. Like, you understand, there are so many people who are simply ridiculously behind the curve on realizing that, yes, fighting games need rollback netcode. They need good online, otherwise they are simply going to be buried. But that's the Japanese for you. And yes, indeed, it is good to know that I am simply not making an oversight in assuming that. Because I am the sort of person who tends to miss details every now and again, so yes. DFO. You'll have to enlighten me what that stands for. The booze is sort of making me question what exactly you're talking about. Dungeon Fighter Online. I didn't know that was getting a proper fighting game. I believe I've heard the name before, but yes. And Yusukun, that is indeed a very extremely valid point. The fact that they would make an oversight of that magnitude is indeed rather questionable, but again, the Japanese are rather stuck in their ways. And yes, do tell me, Zalbzos. And Ariel, that is indeed a rather I don't believe I can relate to operational security in the traditional sense, but there are a lot of things I do not want to reveal about myself, for the simple fact that the chrono mages that brought me into this world probably do not want me to discuss such matters in great detail. For understandable reasons, it is quite the trade secret. So, that is simply what I must do. I have to respect their wishes for privacy and simply not talk about it. But I guess, in a sense, in the end, I'm so glad I participated in that tournament, because my week-long, as you may have seen, I elected to stream myself practicing for the tournament every single day this week, except for Tuesday, which was my designated break, simply because I was feeling burned out that particular day. So, it was quite the good learning experience in the end, because it ended up teaching me two things. One, I am simply not fit for a quite the demanding schedule. I can't really handle doing an entire week's worth of content in 1 week. I cannot stream 7 days a week. I do need my breaks and my downtime. But the other thing is, it also taught me that I actually really like streaming fighting games. Regardless of whether or not I managed to win on stream, I simply enjoyed the process of grinding. I simply liked getting into player matches and such, so... In that sense, I would say that venture was a complete success. Coal, finally. And yes, you are indeed correct. That said, even if I had managed to stream all 7 days this week, I don't think I would have, precisely, I honestly do not think I would have, done, that would not have been my usual schedule by any stretch of the imagination, but in the end, I still am glad I did it, because, it did, teach me my limits. It taught me, it gave me good ideas for future content, and, yeah, there's really not much more to say to that. It was simply a good call all around. Wonderful. Excellent. That said, it did, I am sort of self-conscious about, my general entertainment value. I do honestly still think, I have a long way to go as far as, practicing my commentary and, just ensuring that I can, make up for dead air. Which brings me back to Rose. The wonderful Your Average Rose. I cannot say enough good things about that woman. Not only can she manage to make the same game, playing the same game more or less over and over again, incredibly entertaining, she can manage to simply talk for hours upon hours upon hours on end and still retain the same energy level for that long. I honestly do wonder how she does it, but in the end, I've accepted the fact that I simply cannot match that energy level, but at the same time, I do still think that she finds, she is something to aspire to in the end. Simply a fantastic streamer, just fantastic girl in general. To say nothing of the debt of gratitude I owe her for introducing me to my previously mentioned Oshi Nekorine. Just, discovering her was a blessing in so many ways, because, she was really my indirect, introduction to the entire scene that I'm a part of right now. It was, yes, I really do not want to think about... Oh, great. I'm stuck here without a bed and it's raining again. Yes, I think I may have to resort to stealing one of these poor villagers' beds. This is rather irritating. But yes, Rose is absolutely wonderful. I cannot recommend her enough. So, yes. If you have the time, please look up Your Average Rose. Should be a very simple name to remember, so please, give her a chance. She is a wonderful streamer. She will make it absolutely worth your while. And, entertain you quite a bit. SO setup. I am not sure what you mean, Ty. Oh dear, thunderstorm. Yep, I'm staying inside for the moment. No, I'm not sure what you mean by SO. I literally just said that. Oh, shout out. No, I do not have that set up. I do not really have any of those, funny little automations set up, so... Unfortunately, we may have to do it the old-fashioned way. I believe a mod should have... Yep, Your Average Rose. Twitch.tv says Your Average Rose. That said, she's actually still in the process of transitioning to YouTube. She splits her attention between the two platforms at the moment, but with how well she's doing on this particular platform, I have zero doubt in my mind that she will eventually make the switch full-time to Twitch. Because, as we've already established, YouTube has many, many problems as a streaming platform, so it is quite the process. Also, Tane, it is a pleasure to see you. I'm glad you could make it. If I recall correctly, you're in a time zone where it's morning, so good morning. Absolute pleasure to see you. I'd also like to apologize for changing my schedule so much, streaming at the dead of night your time, so... See, the problem is, I'm actually reaching sort of a crossroads in my life at the moment. I believe, I've spoken on Twitter before about my, teaching career. That is how I make my income at the moment. I am a music teacher in the High Gain Kingdom. However, I've actually been on sabbatical for the, last little while, so... It is, on one hand, it has liberated me to stream, to experiment with timing, but on the other hand, that time is actually about to come to an end, so... Streams in the afternoon, my time, may be about to be a thing of the past. Oh, thank Christ I'm dead. Oh, you bastard. Oh, that's unfortunate. Who do I have to murder to get a good night's sleep? You bastard. Well, I may be about to die for the first time. This is awkward. Well, lucky thing I set a respawn point right there. Yes, please give me back my belongings, you absolute cuck of a wizard. Well, that's convenient. Yes, so, as we've stated before, I am, not the best at survival. Especially not on my own. I don't know why I attempted to eat when I was poisoned, but... this was rough. Well, it's a good thing for showing off my Minecraft skills without the point of the stream, isn't it? No, sir, I am a scrub at this game, as a matter of fact. So, I will actually, admit that, I've actually, while I have indeed, made some impressive things in, the private Minecraft server I am in, that was not actually all my doing. I had copious amounts of help from the other residents of that server, because I am simply unable to play on my own. And, Tane, that is hardly a, in a sense, that's actually fine. Lord knows I would never have played this game myself had I not been, effectively... Well, I don't want to say pressured into playing it, but more, I was very heavily recommended to play it. Plus, it just seemed to be a good social experience. Plus, Minecraft collabs are sort of a hot thing to do, so... It just, it seemed like a good way to open some doors for myself, buying this game. The fact that I've actually had some, quite some fun playing it is, simply a, happy accident. That said, this is hardly my idea of fun, simply sitting here. To say nothing of the fact that this was probably not very entertaining to watch, but... Again, most of the point of the stream was to simply blather on, to talk, so... Yes, I already discussed Under Night and Birth, so I figure I might as well speak about the other game I plan on playing next week, the sequel to Rosenkreuz Stilett, which I cannot pronounce for shit other than Freud, which means cold. So, you may wonder why I decided to skip over to the sequel as opposed opposed to finishing the first game. The reason being, fuck that last boss I have left to play. I do not want to deal with that. Those of you who were there for that stream understand that playing that particular game was quite the stressful experience for me. That was, yes. T4 and 3, I know for a fact you saw the absolute lowest point. That one stage where they juked you into, in every side-scroller you assume you want to go right, but it forced you to go left. And it was, quite the going experience. I, didn't have a very good reaction to that. And yes, died a Mega Man clone. That was an experience, but it is not one that I feel any particular need to finish. I have no shame moving on to the sequel, especially considering, all the Steam reviews for the first game state very clearly that the sequel is superior in every way, so maybe if I'm lucky that will mean the difficulty will be quite a sadistic too. Yes, there's a reason it seemed evil, because it was fucking evil. It was absolutely ridiculous. And I will not play it again unless I absolutely have to be quite blunt. That was, quite the experience. Which was, worth it for the sake that, it actually gave me my first clippable moments, which is always a blessing, but on the other hand, the absolute stress I had to go through playing it was also, simply not something I want to experience again. I'm going to check something real quick. Oh, wow. So apparently, there are people occupied on, apparently the server that I was on actually is active at the moment. Or at least it was 20 minutes ago. But again, I'm still not quite sure of the streaming policy of that server. I do not, I still need clarification on whether or not it's actually cool to play on that server, considering it's technically private. I mean, it is technically the server of a public Discord, but at the same time, that's, I'm not one to take risks, so it was not explicitly stated whether or not it was cool to stream on that server, so I will, not take that risk. Wow. I don't remember that conversation, but if that's the case, then, yes. Oh, no, I haven't. I did not know I was at that follower count. Well, I gotta find a way to screenshot that at the moment. Alright. Excellent. Alright. So, yes, you'll have to forgive me for taking a break at the moment. As a matter of fact, I think I'm going to, if it is permitted, since I have implicit permission to stream on that server, I might as well just kill this hopeless survival run and go log into that server. So if you will give me the privilege of your patience, then please give me a moment and I will switch over. And we are back. Thank you for your patience. So, I have logged into my usual server. And as you can see, the residents are fine with it. Everybody say hello to Call Me Arcana. Arcana. Very good friend of mine. One of the many people who has helped me on the server. Very nice woman. Also a streamer herself. Not necessarily a VTuber, but very nice woman. So, this is the area I'm in at the moment is a randomly generated mansion that we overtook. That we decided to simply make our main base of operations at the moment. And this is my room. As you can tell, I have zero decorating sense myself. With the exception of this particular fence. This was actually Arcana's handiwork right here. So, I suppose we'll pivot into a tour of the server. And the house in general. But first, a joke. What do you get when you cross an owl with a bungee cord? My ass. Enough. If you get that reference, you have earned plus 2,000 cool points. This is my cat. They are unnamed, but they are very cute, and very effective at scaring off creepers. Say hello. Pat pat. Hello. Hello, nice kitty. So, I'm not going to show off that much private property simply because that's not cool. People are entitled to keep secrets, so. More cats. Nice little painting. Let's go up to the second floor. I will show you as many rooms as there are publicly available. So we're actually going to skip the second floor for the most part and go up to the third floor to show you what used to be my room. And coming up, behold, what used to be my room. This cool little skull shrine. So, this is an absolutely badass room. You do not need me to tell you that. However, it was entirely impractical to live in. So, I had my bed there, and I had a couple of chests there, and a crafting table, and I believe a furnace there. Not the most practical setup in the world. However, I also didn't want to dismantle the shrine because that would have completely defeated the purpose of this room. This was simply too cool to dismantle, so I wound up moving out into the room you saw back there. Yes, you probably should. Now, the problem with Dai's room is that he is on the entire other side of the server, so he will be rather late in the tour. But also say hello to Boris. This is Boris, too. He is a complete cunt. I dislike him. But he is a good friend of mine's pet, so I simply cannot take matters into my own hands with him. I'm going to leave him alone. He is a rather rowdy little fellow. If you get too close to him, he will attack you. So, let's come out here, and hello. This is Call Me Arcana. This is the good friend I was speaking about a minute ago. And this is apparently her latest project. A little, resting area. Bonfire. Yes, hello, Arcana. Pleasure to see you. Very nice to see you. Say hello to my stream, please. Also dog. Very cute. And yes, they are in the middle of the project, so this may not have been the most advisable time to bother them, but it is what it is. Yes, hello. This woman has helped me quite a bit. Immeasurably. She is absolutely wonderful. So, moving on. this is the bar that has apparently gone through quite a bit of a redesign. So you may notice the Swedish flag here. That's an entire story. I'll save that for another time. The last shot bar. Apparently the seats have not been installed yet, but that's of little consequence. Yes, Bojangles, Emmy's dog. Emmy is another resident of the server who is also responsible for some of the most impressive projects in this server. Such as this farm right here. And this handsome little scarecrow. My buddy. I like him. So, not exactly a free-range farm, but I don't believe the ethics will bother any of you, right? Oh wow, this has had quite a number of alterations made to it since the last time I was in here. This is probably what they were up to when I was busy with my tournament. So, yes, that's about as much as I can show you of this particular server without breaching anybody's privacy. So, I believe it's time for me to head into the nether portal and go ahead and move on to the other side of the server. But first I must feed myself. So, join me as we take a nice little train ride. Don't mind any of this. This is for a project that I'm still working on. Arcade is talking to the other resident that's online at the moment. Just in case. I doubt she's listening in on the stream at the moment, so... And now we go on the very long process of riding this nether rail. See, the problem with that particular mansion is that it is actually on the complete other side of the server from everything else we built. It's in a very remote part of the server. And yes, I am not surprised to know that you still have this up. You are quite loyal. That's why I modded you. But I guess the mansion is in such a remote part of the server that, as a matter of fact, we have had little to no choice to, say hello to Electromeister. He is a regular viewer of both Nectarine and Rose. Because, I don't know if I mentioned this before, but Nectarine and Rose are actually the best of friends. They are a very intertwined pair of YouTubers. Mostly because they share a nationality. They are both South African. Not exactly a country many people hear of, but that is the nice thing about virtual YouTubing. It takes all sorts. Every corner of the world is indeed represented. So in any case, as I was mentioning, so pardon the pun, but I've actually lost my train of thought there. But yes, actually no, now I remember what I was talking about. That mansion is in such a remote part of the server that we have had to... It requires a 2.5 minute nether train ride to get from the mansion back to the spawn area. Although fortunately, we are actually right there. We are back at the spawn area. So, I suppose we will take a moment to catch up with Dai. But first, I suppose I'll show you one of another very active member. I was probably have asked if Zoptos was still in the chat, but if so, this is actually his farm right here. This is his handiwork right here. I'm not going to violate his privacy by hopping into his house, but... Oh, yes you are. Okay, so, I should probably ask you directly. Do you mind if I... Oh, yes, I can go in. Excellent. So, yes. These signs were the handiwork of a mysterious individual who, decided to raid everybody's houses, so, yes. We are going to tour Zoptos' house. Here we have the bar. Obviously my favorite part of the house. And here we have a little, roof foyer. Very impressive looking. But first we must go back down, because we must show you the aquarium. Yes, Zoptos is one of the bigger, one of the more active members of the server, and it shows. This house is quite a lot going for it. Yes, work in progress. Not that you would realize that. And what looks like a mushroom farm of some description, which is probably an entrance to a mine. I will not go in there. That is his business. So, this is a map of what I believe to be his entire part of the server, but I'm not the best at reading Minecraft maps, so you will have to bear with me. And what I just barely glanced at was a storage, which I will also not show you. So, instead, I'm going to walk towards the proper spawn area and show you what goes on there, because there are some rather impressive projects there. Believe you me. So yeah, we have an in-joke in this particular server, in Necrorene's Discord and this Minecraft server, that this game has completely consumed our collective lives. For good reason. If we're in a bad mood, or we simply have some free time on our hands, the first thing we go do is, hey, we should join the server. Just see what's up there. This is the spawn village. We got exceedingly lucky. This was there right before we spawned. And if you observe here, this is a hotel that was actually just built by one of the moderators of... one of Neko's moderators, who I believe is also a moderator of the server. And here's the bulletin board. There's my message, rather deep. And yes, die is indeed one of the exceptions. I will not comment on that, nor this, nor this. So, yes, that's the bulletin board. Moving right along, this is the spawn village, which was rather heavily edited. Market Square. This, I believe, was another part of Arcana's handiwork. And again, more of Emmy's handiwork. Rather generous woman, that is. I find it a pleasure to work with her, and simply play with her. Great Minecraft says, generous woman, you can't go wrong. Hello, Golem. So, yes, those who are familiar with Your Average Rose may know her famous abuse of golems, but that actually doesn't apply to this particular server. We have a bit more respect for them than that. Whoops, going the wrong way. I'm heading towards Arcana's work-in-progress swamp house. She probably doesn't want me to show that off on stream, so I will respect her wishes and head the other way. Which is good, because the other way is actually where I want it to go. Pardon the silence for a moment. I noticed I gotta comment on one of my Twitter posts, but I did not want to take more time to read it, so we will instead simply continue onward to the proper spawn area. So what you see in front of me is actually my spawn house. See, the thing is, I actually don't spend much time in this particular section of the server. Nobody does anymore. Not since we found the mansion house, so... wow, this is a bit more heavily forested than I remembered. That said, I will elect to, oh, never mind, Zop does. This is more or less his domain. That was silly of me. So, yes, conveniently labeled Cliff's Spawn. The review of the mysterious stranger. So, yes, indeed, nothing to write home about in here. The standard assortment, plus a cartographer's table, because, that was one of my goals at one point. I was going to map out the entire server, but that ended up being far more hassle than it was worth, so I gave up. And I'll go ahead and show off. Pardon me, I heard a startling noise. And I just realized it's almost nighttime, so I should probably go ahead and head into bed. That said, I'm not entirely sure who was, I believe everybody's in the overworld, so I don't know how many, the convenient thing about this particular server is that, the owner of the server, who is actually not Nakarine herself, it's one of her mods, they actually implemented a mod that not everybody needs to go to sleep in order for, it to accelerate the night. Which has come in handy more times than you would expect. Because coordinating an entire server to go to bed at the same time is rather miserable. I remember the server was actually not my first experience with Minecraft. My first experience was with a different server entirely. But that server did not have that same mod installed, so if you were stuck out at night, then tough luck, you had to pray everybody was asleep. So what I'm about to show you is the onsen, which, if you ask me, is the second most impressive part of the server. Which I'm only showing off because the owner of this explicitly wants it to be shown off. Behold, nice cozy hot spring. Nice place to get your sweat on. While I'm at it, this would probably also be a good time. This is probably a good time to reveal. This is actually where my Twitter banner came from. Which, if you've paid attention to my Twitter account, was actually made by Arcana. Take a look at my Minecraft skin. Made it myself. The resemblance is absolutely uncanny, isn't it? Also, hello, Die. Yes. My Minecraft skin. 1,000 hours on minecraftskins.com. I'd like to think I sort of nailed the high points of my mama's design. Yes, thank you, Yusa-kun. I'm glad you recognize it. That said, again, it's mostly thanks to my mama that I look that good, so you have her to thank for that. So, I will move on back over this way to show you the rest of the spawn area. And yes, Die indeed paid for his Minecraft skin, but that's a fair way to go about it. I, on the other hand, I would like to think that my pixel art skills are somewhat up to snuff enough to justify making it myself. Whether that's true or not, that's up to you to decide. I'd like to think the skin came out pretty well, as a matter of fact. I would like to think, here's my full body. Rather accurate, wouldn't you say? Yes, I did indeed try my best to match the broad strokes of the outfit. Now, keep in mind the back is actually an assumption on my part. My mama actually didn't come up with a back for me. But again, I would like to think that this is a rather accurate assessment of mine. So, with that little sidetrack out of the way, here's a nice little picnic area. Dato. This looks like a rather nice spot for a date, don't you think? Just bringing a nice lady with you, hanging out. This is the portal to the wilds, as they call it, which is actually the racehorse server. Nothing particularly interesting there, I'm not going to show you. What I will show you is Neko's house. The Abyssal Box. That's an end joke. Don't particularly have time to explain that. Pardon me, I almost forgot to bring my model back where it belongs. And if you come up here, those of you who are regular viewers of Nina may also recognize the name Garrett. Yes, indeed. Garrett's house, with an interior design by Arcana. Now, up until now, I actually didn't want to go into anybody's house to violate their privacy, for the sake of the privacy, but there is a particular thing about Garrett's house that I like that I want to show off. So we have no choice but to come in. Yes, indeed, this is all the handiwork of Arcana. Absolutely beautiful work, if I do say so myself. Wonderful. But let's go up the stairs. Come this way. And come out here. Nice little outdoor observation deck. Very nice. And yes, Di, I'm getting to that. Don't worry. Apparently Arcana's not having the best time, but it's unfortunate. But here's my favorite part of Harriet's house. Those of you who are agoraphobic may want to look away for this particular segment of the video, or the stream, because this is something I absolutely love doing. As you've noticed here, he has nice riverside property that is deep enough to do a nice, long jump off of. 3, 2, 1, jump! I fucking love doing that. I could never get sick of that whatsoever. Such a rush. As a matter of fact, I could spend literally all day doing just that, but we're in the middle of a tour, so in the interest of not boring you, I will simply move on. So I believe our next stop is Di's Pit, which we'll have to move away. And as a matter of fact, you can see it right there. This fun little glass structure. I don't remember picking up an egg sack. Yes. Hello, Di. Say hello to my viewers. And as well... wow, that's a lot deeper than I expected. As we can tell, there isn't much there at the moment. As he stated himself, it's a work in progress. Watch your step, because I am almost certain that a drop like that is absolutely fatal. So, yeah, not much to look at. He did warn us that. Zoptos, I will not jump in there, and I will... See, if you would ask me to do that off of Harriet's house, I would have gladly done that. So, nice little spawn garden. So this area right here is actually 00, World Spawn. An area that was absolutely decked out by Arcana. More of her beautiful handiwork. Absolutely beautiful. Gorgeous. Gotta love it. And with that, that actually concludes the tour of this particular section of the server. And Di, I do not doubt that. I recall the other night you were actually asking people for sponges. That was an interesting experience watching over that. So, we are done with this particular section of the server, so I need to find the path to the portal, the nether portal. And I will show you my personal proudest work, and after that, I may or may not call it a stream. We'll see how I'm feeling after we finish. And this is Electro's house right here. The other regular server resident who is currently helping Arcana with a build. Yes, quite the long road, but it doesn't matter. It's the journey that matters, not the destination. And we are passing by a less than regular resident's house. Oh, shit. Hello, Electro. I was not expecting you to come on stream. I'm sorry. I am desperately sorry. I probably should have asked your permission to stream everything, but I promise I there's a reason I didn't go into your house. So, we're on another highway. So, usually there's a minecart here, but this is a short enough walk that I can justify simply walking by. Gotcha, pig. I don't use that much. I don't generally have enough gold to really roll the dice with that. So, yes, we've, fun fact, I actually don't spend much time in the nether. Simply because as a Minecraft scrub, I'm generally not too confident in my abilities to, survive down here for long periods. In the end, I do stand on the backs of giants, playing on this server. So, yes, I owe everybody in the server a debt of gratitude. And here we come to the portal. And now, I am prepared to show you my proudest work. Behold. We will walk up this path, building anticipation here. I am so excited to show you what's going on here. Yes, indeed. If we look up this mountain, so this is actually a rather remote section of the server as well. So straight ahead is not what I want to show you. That is the farm of one of the other server administrators. But if I stop here, path to Cliff's Castle. My beautiful, edgy as fuck, Blackstone Castle. This is far and away my best work on the server. I poured a lot of blood, sweat, and tears into this, so I am more than happy to walk up the stairs and show you what goes on inside. But first, the garden pond. So, this lake was here naturally on the mountain. I built the entire castle into a mountain that was already here. Harmony with nature and all that shit, so... Yes, observe my garden pond. So, if you like this flower placement, once again, you have Arcana to thank for that. Again, that woman has more design sense than anybody would know what to do with. Simply beautiful, wonderful. But that's enough of that. It's time to show you, first of all, my pet. Say hello to Dickface the Bone Horse. Handsome fella right here. I love him. It was a gift from some anonymous member of the server. To this day, I still don't know who gifted him to me, but either way, I am very grateful. Rodham Cowboy. My handsome fella. I love him quite a bit. But it is time. 2 ominous banners. Quite my proud decorations. But now, allow me to show you my castle. Which is completely undecorated, but that is because I have yet to, Arcana and I are supposed to, that's a project for Arcana and I. As a matter of fact, I've actually gathered materials for the project. And I promise you that once we finish it, it will look amazing. But for the moment... Yep, a gift from Myoshi. Nectarine gifted me that sword. This is my stone sword. There are many like it, but this one is mine. Little, storage slash... construction area. Nothing too special. Second floor. Again, nothing going on here. Arcana and I will figure something out, I promise you. And third floor, which is effectively my bedroom. My chest full of valuables that I will not show you. That is none of your business. And the top floor, which is completely undecorated again. And finally, if I get up on this floor, I can show you the observation deck. You just come down here, and you get a nice view of both the mountain the view down the path, and the view of the other side of the mountain. So you don't see the donkeys that are usually here, but they are there. And of course the roof, which is not accessible at the moment, but I will come up with a way. I have some plans for what to do with the roof, but they remain to be seen. So, I'm actually not quite done, but I'm not sure where to go from there. But I also have to get up, so I need to throw up a little loading screen, so please excuse me for a brief moment. And I am back once again. Thank you for your patience. So, I believe we're reaching the end of the stream at the moment, so, I suppose the last little thing I do is, I'll show you around the mountain real quick. Congo, yes, greetings, CISO, Plague Testament. Gee, we'll give it away. But, yes. Yes, I don't think I can, yeah. Poor Arcana. I'm not gonna comment on that much. So, yes, you came at the tail end of my tour of, the Minecraft server I usually spend time on. Which is, rather nice. I believe, we have a lot of talented individuals in here. So, really the last thing I haven't shown off is the, path between this area and our world spawn, which I'm not going to take. It is almost night. My brief excursion into single-player survival should have been proof enough that I cannot handle myself whatsoever playing. I do not want to be caught out at night. Not whatsoever. Not a fun time. That's the reason I shifted over to this server as opposed to playing single player. And yes, you can see them going to bed. Everybody say goodnight to Electro. Good guy, very worth playing with. As is everybody else in the server. This is a very wonderful community that I'm part of here. Simply exquisite. Honestly, I could just say that about every community I'm part of. Whether this Minecraft community, the VTuber community I'm part of, just, in the end, I do find myself rather blessed. Oh, Shisho, I almost forgot. I know we said this privately, but I would also like to say this publicly. That was a very good game we had back in the tournament a few hours ago. So, for those of you who were not there to witness it, Shisho absolutely fucked me up. I got one round off on him, but after that he adapted very quickly. And once I watched the VOD and I saw my apparent lack of Dragon Punch use, that was probably my biggest flaw as a player in that particular match. I couldn't anti-air. Plus, Zoptos could also vouch for the fact that I apparently simply didn't know how to escape stagger pressure. So, the Shisho used a move that anybody who knew what they're doing could have very easily dealt with, but simply, he gave me a knowledge check and I failed it. It's unfortunate, but that's simply how it goes when you practice a game but don't get a match of experience. Because, I actually did, he main Slayer in Guilty Gear, Accent Core plus R. And, I actually didn't get that much practice against him in general, but especially not, a Slayer with the Shisho's particular playstyle. And, yes, I suppose that is true, Shisho, but at the same time, I really should have done my homework on that in the end. There's always more to learn. That said, knowing that the organizer of the tournament couldn't handle that either, helps my ego a bit, but at the same time, I did lose you on stream. You did prove yourself the better player, so that's, simply something I gotta live with. And, yes, I don't blame you. As a matter of fact, I said this before, like, I believe I said this in the, casual, big room chat, that, May is a matchup I was pretty weak to as well. Serena Penguina was his opponent in the tournament, and, that was honestly somebody that I was absolutely fucking dreading fighting for the same reason. That matchup is hell for both of our players, simply because, May is a character that can simply turn off her brain and completely shut us down if we don't know how to fight her. Because her signature, May's particular signature, is absolutely insane damage output. Which, granted, both of our characters have too, but she just, it comes to her so much easier. Oh, Thief. I was actually a bit busy by the time, after I got knocked out of the tournament, I'll admit I actually sort of drifted in and out, so, I actually, didn't catch much of you and Thief's match, but I don't doubt Thief is skilled in their own right, so, I'm sure that it was hardly a shameful loss, so, yes. Yes, low stamina, that is not surprising, the beginning of, oh, yes, that's right, I almost forgot about that. You commented CBT before that, which I unfortunately missed because it overlapped with Nectarine. Sorry, Shishu, but, My OC takes priority over everything else. I hope you can find it in your heart to forgive me. I don't doubt that it was a very entertaining time, and I'm looking forward to watching the VOD, but at the same time, if you have a favorite streamer, yes, entirely reasonable. I'm glad you understand, Shisho. Because I will... Shisho, you were in for a good time if you managed to catch either of them. Now, obviously I'm a bit biased because Nekarine is my OC, but I believe Rose has even wider appeal than that. Nekarine appeals to me personally. Her style is unmistakable for anybody else's, but Rose, I believe, has a broad appeal. Rose is very high energy, very friendly, welcoming, whereas Nekarine is a bit more laid back, very, well, Neko is Neko. We'll put it that way. Actually, I'll show you one last thing before we end the stream. Because, yes, that's the awkward thing. Yes, well, Die, I'm trying to put it as politely as I can. I don't want to scare people off watching Nekarine. If you do give her a chance, please, bear with her. She has her own distinct style that is, again, unmistakable for anybody else, but also, not to everybody's taste, let's put it that way. And, I'm glad that you, appreciate my dedication to her, Shisho. Because, I'll be honest, that woman is the reason I'm glad I managed to get into indie VTubers, and, to be honest, Nekarine and Rose are actually the reason, honestly, they're the reason that I met you and all the rest of our scene, to be honest, so, and, yes, Die has a very aggressive streaming schedule, so, that's one reason he is not able to catch much of anybody. But that's a good thing, he has a hustle. He knows what he wants to do, and that's, I don't find anything wrong with that. So, nobody told Nekarine I showed you this. This is the second hot spring by the same gentleman who made the first one I showed you earlier in the stream. Sort of a secret one. So, Nekarine has a bit of a habit of, if she's in a mood, she will not hesitate to bully us. So, this is the secret hot spring. And Swedish flags are an in-joke. We have a Scandinavian moderator of the server, but not from Sweden, so... That's a whole story that I'm afraid I will have to save for another time. But with that, server was starting in 30 minutes. So yeah, I picked the perfect time to end the stream. So yes, I wish I could show you the hot spring in more detail, but I need to head to bed both in game and in real life. Well, as real life as you can define it as for somebody such as I. So I gotta navigate this. Whoops. Yeah, that's not that big of a deal. And yes, I'm glad you could show up too, Shisho. It's always an honor to have you in here. As honestly one of the bigger, I honestly find you a pillar of this scene of ours. So it is my absolute pleasure to have you on the stream always. You are always welcome here. You always have a place here. And I am honestly very pleased to have you. I can only hope that I can find a way to... I know that I'm not that big of a name, but I honestly do. I do hope that at some point I can find a way to to get back to the scene the same way you did. You have, and still continue to do. Because I really am, I'll be honest, I do have a lot of trouble finding my place in this world, so, that said, this is still, Ariel, welcome back. Unfortunately, you're at the very end of the stream, but yes, Congo is here. I don't want to say Congo and I are close, but, we are part of the same scene. We are, I do believe, we do have a lot of mutual connections, so, we are part of a larger scene, which I believe is honestly one of the best, in the business, if you ask me. So, yes. But yes, I do want to belong to a scene. I do want to find my place in it. Although that said, as the scenes, I'm not so pretentious to call myself a designated musician of the scene, but that is my eventual goal. So, yes, I don't blame you. Congo is an amazing streamer, very unique, has his own style and he sticks to it. So, yes. Yes, Shisho, please forgive me for being so pretentious as to even insinuate that we're close, because we're really not. I don't get to talk to you as much as I'd like to. That said, I'm always open to deepening our bonds if you are open to that. Because I do believe, like I said, you are a pillar of the scene, and eventually I would like to be one too. So, I do believe that I have something to contribute. So, I honestly would like to have a more defined place within as a VTuber, just in general. Alright, I'm getting sappy here, so I should probably just go ahead and sleep. In both senses of the word. So I guess this was honestly an amazing turnout for a completely unannounced stream. Yes, Congo Circle is a great bunch. I wouldn't say I'm part of it per se, but like I don't know if you've seen those like connection charts. I'm probably within like one or two connections. There are not many degrees of separation between the two of us, if you ask me. Or at least I don't think there are. But whatever the case, yes, Congo Circle is a great bunch, and I urge you to check them out. He is fantastic. Our scene is fantastic. I can't say I'm fantastic, but I'm working towards it. The grind never ends. And, yes, Di is right. We are hardly a centralized connection. We're not a centralized group, but I do believe we're still a great group nonetheless. Very diverse, very, nice. I'd like to say we're welcoming, so, we're, yes, we're worth, being around. But, yes, it is 4:45 a.m. at my time, so I should probably wrap this up. So, yes. Again, thank you very much for coming. Thank you for hanging out with me. I need to find a raid target, which is going to be a hell of a challenge, considering there's probably nobody on... Never mind. V Little Shadow, one of Di's friends. I suppose that works. Let's go see what she's up to. We are going to raid V Little Shadow. So, you're welcome. You're welcome. Yep. Thank all of you. Grateful. Very grateful for all of you. Thank you again. This was an amazing turnout for a 2 a.m. unannounced stream. And, yes. Oh, Dual Boar, I forgot you were in here. Thank you for attending, and, yes. We're gonna raid V Little Shadow. So, once again, thank you all very much for watching. I don't know when my next stream will be, but as I've already got over, my plans are out in the open, so thank you all very much for attending. Have a good night, good evening, good morning, whatever the hell time it is. Thank you all for attending. See ya.
I don't know why I thought it was a good idea to drive from Los Angeles to Boston. I definitely underestimated the amount of time. Oh, hey, it's the school I went to.
Lily, look, it's my old college dorm.
Good times, man. Good times at this college.